Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Prep Zone here at DMVSTREAM.com headquarters. I'm BJ Koubaroulis. I'm joined for this special episode and special edition all about the DMVSTREAM.com Nova Challenge. In this segment, we're going to be revealing the Fairfax North roster with the two coaches from that team for the upcoming DMVSTREAM.com Nova Challenge. We're going to do that right after this break that tells you all about this great upcoming event, April 10th at Marshall High School. It's the DMVSTREAM.com Nova Challenge, the third annual installment of Northern Virginia's premier All-Star Basketball Showcase event is expanding. This year's April 10th event will welcome the top seniors from Fairfax, Loudoun, Arlington, Prince William, and the city of Alexandria for an action-packed day. In addition to the two All-Star games, the area's best public school basketball players will compete in a dunk contest and a three-point contest. Underclassmen will also have access to a developmental clinic hosted by our friends at Evolution Basketball. Now, not only has this year's event grown from one game to two, but by becoming the title sponsor of this event, DMVSTREAM.com will be providing you, the viewers and fans, the exceptional, state-of-the-art coverage you've come to expect from us. As the Mid-Atlantic's #1 source for live sports broadcasting, well, DMVSTREAM.com, we're going to broadcast this year's event live to computers, tablets, mobile devices, and we'll also make the replays available on demand on the internet, as well as our relationships with local cable television access channels. DMVSTREAM.com produces live broadcasts for professional, semi-pro, and amateur sporting events, as well as colleges, universities, high schools, AAU, and youth tournament organizations throughout the Mid-Atlantic. With a client list that includes ESPN, The Washington Post, Monumental Sports Network, CBSSports.com, USAFootball.com, USLacrosse.org, NCAA.com, the National Federation of High School Sports, Georgetown University, among others, Synthesis Multimedia Productions and DMVSTREAM.com has emerged as the Mid-Atlantic's top provider of multimedia. Now, the DMVSTREAM.com Nova Challenge, featuring Nova's premier basketball players on April 10th. You can find out more about that at DMVSTREAM.com and NovaChallenge.com. We'll see you there. All right, welcome back into this special episode here at DMVSTREAM.com's The Prep Zone. We're talking all about the Nova Challenge and now ready to excitingly reveal the Fairfax North roster. I am here with the coaches of the Fairfax North team and coaches that you all know if you know anything about local high school basketball. Dan Hale of Marshall High School and Mike Barbee of Fairfax High School. So they're going to join me here now in revealing this roster. Why don't we throw the roster up, guys? So here it is. Chase Barand, Blake Francis, Marty Grisky. We've got Hank Johnson, Alex McNaughton, Manny Miller, Tyler Scanlon, Nate Schaefer, Devon Tarpley, Daniel Ungerleiter, William Uter-Koffler, they're testing me on this one, Tyga Walker, and Tyler White. So with a last name like Koubaroulis, I barely got through that one. But boy, we've got some really, really good talent here, guys, and that's where you come in. You guys have seen these guys. You've faced off with these guys. Dan, let's start with you. Obviously, Tyler Scanlon is a name that everybody in local basketball, not just Northern Virginia, but obviously the fact that he played private hoops and then came back and won a football championship and now a basketball championship and was an integral part of both of those teams. Dan, tell me a little bit about Tyler Scanlon and why you may be excited just to be able to coach this guy.
Oh, I'm absolutely excited about getting the chance to coach him. Doug Yule's done a great job integrating him, and this is just a plug for the whole tournament. He absolutely is the guy to come and watch. I mean, this guy is, a phenomenon that is out there. He can go inside, he can go outside. He is, the thing that I just, in watching him play, that I just was so impressed with. Here's a guy that's the most talented guy on the floor, and yet he's a leader.
Right.
Whenever their teams struggle, he pulls them together. You see that numerous times. And, just a phenomenal talent. Very, very enjoyable guy to watch.
You've seen him here in the highlights. This is a guy that can go inside and out. He's a threat from anywhere on the court. He's also a big body and hard to contend with. What are some things that you may be implementing? I don't want to give away the tips of how you're going to coach this thing, but as we get out of our 29-9er player to watch there, Dan, how do you expect to use a Tyler Scanlon? Or do you just roll the ball out there and say,
yeah, basically that's it. With a guy like that, he knows everything he needs to know, and it's a fun event. And he's a competitor, and he's going to come out there and he'll rip a rebound and then bust a three on you. I mean, that's the kind of guy he is.
Goes to work, tough guy to guard. I wouldn't want to have to do it. One of our 29 Diner players to watch. We're going to go next here to Mike Barbee of Fairfax High School, and Tyga Walker. Here's a guy from Madison High School. This is a guy that's had a great season, and you get to see him now playing in this All-Star game. Always an exciting thing. What do we expect from a guy like a Tyga Walker, and how do you anticipate integrating him into the mix?
It's going to be a joy to get to coach him now, because twice this year he absolutely just destroyed us. I believe he had over 25 points both times we played him. He is unbelievable going to the basket. Can finish with either hands. Good free throw shooter. You just can't keep him out of the lane. He's one of the craftier guards, I think, in this whole area, and it's going to be fun seeing him, playing this game.
One of those guys from Vienna. They play a little hoops over there in Vienna. May have seen him out at Nottoway Park a couple of times myself. But what a player. It seems like he's not afraid to get in, take the contact, and go to the basket. What are some other expectations that you may have of Tyga? And how does another team try to, well, you've already tried to do this, but how do you try to contain a guy like him?
I don't know, because we would have. If I knew, we would have probably done it.
Right, gotcha.
I think he's got one of those games. It's kind of pick or poison. He's really developed a shot much more his senior year, which goes along with his great shifty game of basketball. As you said, he's not that tall, but you wouldn't know it by the way he plays. He's pound for pound, probably one of the toughest guys around. On
his way to Marymount, and has done a really nice job here locally. So always rooting for a guy like that who's going to stay local and play some hoops as well. So speaking of another local hoops guy, a teammate. Boy, what an unfair advantage these guys had this year. A teammate of Tyler Scanlon, who we've already talked about. Blake Francis. This is a guy that's been around for a while. This is a familiar name, also coached by Doug Ewell. We're seeing him here. Mike, we'll start with you on this one. Tell me a little bit about Blake and what are the strengths of his game.
Yeah, I mean, he's the other half of that 1-2 punch they had. He is probably the toughest big game shot guy I've seen there, in that he can hit any shot in the books. You can play great defense and think you're in his face, and he'll hit a 25 pull-up foot shot in in the guy's eye.
Right.
Just really, when he's on, there's not much you can do. He's too quick. He's too good of a shooter. I think he's a much better defensive player than I think most people realize. He can lock down just about anybody.
Dan, final thoughts on Blake Francis before we get into the rest of the roster?
Just dynamic. That guy is dynamic. He will not shy away from a big shot. He'll not shy away from any kind of defense. He throws his body out there, and we saw the state championship game. I mean, he's throwing himself all over the floor, sucking it up. Just a very, very exciting player.
One of our 29 Diners players to watch from Fairfax North. It's Blake Francis with just about 20 a game. He's 20th in the area. 58 three-pointers made. It seems like a tough guard. I mean, no matter which way you cut it, that's a tough guy to guard. So let's take a final look at the roster that we're revealing here for the DMVSTREAM.com Nova Challenges Fairfax North team. Guys, anyone in here we didn't talk about that you may want to throw some 2 cents in on before we get out of this?
I'll throw something out there with Chase Barron. Chase, he's my guy, so it's a little bit of a homer here, but the guy shot over 53s at almost 50% per three. I mean, for his three-point shooting, just a real leader and a real strong, very exciting player.
I remember the name. We've heard quite a lot about him. I can't wait to see him in action. You've got 2 guys that are playing in this as well. Nick, let's see that roster one more time before we jump out of this and give Mike a chance to gush about his guys there. Tell me a little bit about Alex and Manny.
Yeah, Manny, great all-around player. Best defensive player on the team, led the team in rebounds. Inside, outside player, one of the few guys who can guard everyone from 1 to 5. And Alex is just a great all-around player. He literally did everything on the court this year. At one point, he played almost 190 consecutive minutes.
Wow.
It'll be nice getting to sit him out during a game.
He doesn't want to hear that.
Yeah,
not an all-star
great
game.
shooter, great point guard.
Right.
He's be playing at Salisbury next year, so we'll be seeing a lot of him in the future as well.
Great. All right. That does it, as we have now revealed the Fairfax North roster for the DMVSTREAM.com Nova Challenge, April 10th at Marshall High School. Remember, we're going to be broadcasting that event live. It's also going to be available on television. Here's a behind-the-scenes look at how we did that for the WCAC Championships at American University. Guys, thanks for joining us. Let's take a quick look at a behind-the-scenes video of our broadcast team in action.
Two longtime rivals collide tonight here at American University as the top-seeded St. John's Cadets face the second-seeded DeMatha Stags from the WCAC Championship. Hello, basketball fans. I'm Jeremy Huber, joined by the big man, Junior Burrow, the former UVA star. And Junior, you gotta love it. Tonight we've got one heck of a matchup. You look down the list, not a lot separates these teams. Top of the key, that one off, no good. And they'll give it to Cowan. They'll end up giving him, try to give the foul. The referees don't call it. And fittingly, Cowan's going to dribble it out. And you see him come on the court as St. John's is your 2016 WCAC champions. And they get the win as Anthony Cowan goes off by himself. He deserves it, gets the game ball. He wanted nothing to do with that scrum. He just has to be out there holding that ball.
Hey, easy out there.